Pulling series.
Turning the power on. Rolling on down. Turning the power on.
POWERTRAX is brought to you by the heartbeat of America, today's Chevy truck.
See the lightning, it's fun to roll.
Hello, everybody. I'm Richard Leake, along with Army Armstrong. And the Redman TNT All-American Pulling Series is in Stafford, Connecticut for the Super Modified Tractor Competition. And we're not only going to see 1 day's competition, but 2 days of competition where they have to increase their weight.
They have to increase their weight. What we're going to be seeing is the 7,200-pound class. Then they bump it up to the 9,200-pound class. Now, you must keep in mind, in the sport of professional pulling, weight is how you determine your classes. How do they get that extra 2,000 pounds? We're going to see them actually adding more engines to each vehicle to be competitive at a higher weight bracket, Richard.
Well, here in Stafford, Connecticut, the track is going to be either a plus or minus for some of the drivers. It's a shorter track than normal, and it's a very loose track.
The traveling pros were just stunned when they came into the facility. They thought they were going to find a whole lot of clay they could put a whole lot of horsepower to. They didn't. They found a whole lot of sand, so they are really going to have to adjust. The locals will have an advantage.
Well, the top 3 point leaders are here, and we'll be back in just a moment.
Listen to the heartbeat.
It's the first all-new full-size pickup introduced in this decade. The advanced
America. That's today's Chevy truck.
Husky, born to work, bred to last. Pound for pound, nothing works like a Husky. The HUSQVARNA chainsaw, they call it Husky. Raw power and lightweight make it the professional's choice. It won't let you down. Nothing works like a Husky. The Husky Model 40 is now only $259.95. See the yellow pages for your nearest HUSQVARNA dealer.
Do you know how fast you were going? Did you, know this license has expired?
Now, when you want twice the Pepto, you've got it. New maximum strength Pepto-Bismol.
opportunity can't knock unless it's on your doorstep. Subscribe to the Wall Street Journal.
Call 800-372-3000 for this great journal subscription offer. 13 weeks for just $29.75 with a money-back guarantee. 13 weeks, $29.75. Phone 800-372-3000 now for the Wall Street Journal.
Super senior Gary Player defeated Bob Charles last year in a dramatic showdown. It could happen again at the Payne Weber Senior Invitational. Friday afternoon at 4 Eastern, live on ESPN.
We are back in Stafford, Connecticut. I'm Richard Leake. I'm going to be topside Army Armstrong trackside along with those guys, competitors tonight, and they're checking out track conditions. Maybe not in their favor tonight, Army.
Yeah, the drivers are the main concern. They're going to have to make a couple of adjustments. Number one, the track has been shortened from the normal 300 feet to 270. They lost 30 feet they actually pull right there. And the consistency of the track is more of a sandy consistency than clay. That will affect the drivers, but really not as much in this class as others. The reason being, in the multi-engine dragster class, Richard, these fellows can get so much wheel speed like Dave Banner has here on his test pull to actually float on top of the clay. Banner looks strong. We're coming back topside to you.
David Banner, a 16-time national champion, shuts it down after a pull distance of 240.46 feet. David, of course, can either accept this pull distance or he can rehook and go again. David Banner probably will accept this distance as we go to Army.
Many times national champion Dave Banner draws the awesome #1 spot. Dave, the track conditions, give us an update.
Well, it's soft track. I got a little bit better hole shot than I thought I'd get, but it was definitely got some soft spots in it. But I don't know whether I'll take the pull or not. You know, I think I got a good pull out of it, but that's a decision to make right now.
Tell you, Dave Banner, he's got a little problem. The first puller in this sport has the option to accept or reject the pull. He must make that decision. Secondly, he has another tractor he's going to have to pull a little bit later. He will not have the option with the second tractor. So Banner's got a couple of hard decisions to make right now, chasing these red man points.
Well, yes, David Banner did accept that test pull distance at 240.46 feet, so that's official, and he is going to immediately go back to the line and hook up his second vehicle called the Fox, and this is a good one too, Armin.
Yeah, the Fox is David Banner's second bullet. He and his brother Ralph have been chasing these national points for a long, long time. Luck of the draw, he pulls #1 and #2 spot. I would say that's a good position to pull in this evening. He has learned something from the first run. We're keeping an eye on him to see if he makes any adjustments different from the first run. Not to be the case. Banner rolls out with the Fox, immediately goes right back to the same side of the track, the left side, that he made the previous shot in, Richard.
All right, so David Banner and the Fox, powered by 454 Chevy engines, off and rolling Army trackside.
Ground speed looks good. The tires are getting a little bit of a hold. He's floating on top. The front end gets a little bit light. Banner has a good run going, Richard.
All right, David Banner finally shut it down after a pull of 256.52 feet in the Fox, powered, of course, by those 4 monster Chevrolet engines. The competition is going to be tough, but maybe they've learned something by watching David Banner tonight.
All the drivers have been watching Banner. He's been working the left side of the track. Now, Wayne Keith comes out with Sudden Thunder, another Banner chassis. As a matter of fact, this is Dave Banner's old tractor, Richard. He'll be working the right side of the track. Dave Banner took 2 shots of left side. Sudden Thunder thinks that's not the way to go. He's basically a hometown boy just a few miles down the road. Pulls the right side, Richard, looking awfully strong from my viewpoint. What does it look like topside?
All right, Wayne Keith with a lot of ground speed going for him as he is shutting it down close to a full pull, 265.38 feet. There you see the 300-foot sign. Remember, the track only 270 feet long tonight, not 300 feet, but a good pull as he takes over first place. And we're going to go trackside with Wayne Keith and Army Armstrong now.
Some of these pullers have come from all over the country. Wayne Keith just went into the lead 20 minutes from home, and you've got this crowd standing and cheering for you. Congratulations. What did you do different than Banner?
Well, I pumped the throttle just like David did, but I backed off a little more than he did down towards the end here, and I think that I picked up some speed. I started feeding it more, and she started digging down. When I backed off, she took off, and that's what helped me.
The reason they back out of the throttle like that, they back out of the throttle and then nail it, it plants the rear tires. It worked for him tonight. Let's see if he can stay on top in front of the hometown folks.
Well, it's going to be tough staying on top with this next guy, Bob Dabrowski out of New Hampshire in the Stinger machine. This is powered by a couple of Allison airplane motors.
I'll tell you what, the Stinger, this guy, I think Clint Eastwood said it, he could be one of your worst nightmares. Working a track he's familiar with, a little bit light on the nose compared to everybody else, but look at the ground speed. He is carrying the mail, Richard.
Bob Dabrowski, you want to talk Clint Eastwood? He just made his day as he's got a full pull. Bob Dabrowski out of New Hampshire and Stinger. What are the flames coming up off the motor?
The Allison engine, the turbocharged version, have a lot of fuel left in the cylinders at the completion of the run, and it's kind of belching it out right now, Richard, but a super run.
All right, the Army is going to work his way over to your new leader with a full pull, Bob Dabrowski.
A lot of the fellas were having problems earlier in the evening trying to figure the track out. Now, you guys from the Northeast, you seem to be having a lock on this thing. You're laying down some awesome horsepower out there.
We pulled on this kind of track before, so we kind of know what to do with it. And it's reversed when we go out on a good track out west. We don't know what to do with that as well as what we do here.
Bob, congratulations to you and best of luck.
I thank you very much. I'm glad to be here.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that changes the complexity of the whole pull. No longer can any puller win this contest with one pull. They must make 2. They must make a full pull, just like Bob did, and then come back and get him in a pull-off. The question is, who can be the next full pull, if anybody?
All right, team. Sails are slipping. What are we going to do about it? Well, JB, our competition is advertising effectively on cable television. Cable television? Yes. They're advertising on networks like ESPN, CNN, USA, and MTV, reaching thousands of people every day. And the people at Jones Intercable know how to create advertising that gets results. Cable advertising. I like that.
Open your mind to an exciting new experience in learning. The Mind Extension University. An exclusive and entertaining offering from your basic cable service, the Mind Extension University is a challenging and convenient way to earn college credit in the comfort of your home. Courses are available now. To find out more, call 1-800-777-MIND. The Mind Extension University. Open your mind to your future.
Speed, power, more speed. If it has a motor and goes fast, you'll see it on Speed Week every Thursday night at 7:30 Eastern on ESPN.
Back in Stafford, Connecticut, the ESPN Redman TNT All-American Pulling Series continues. Just a moment ago, we saw our first full pull of the night. It came from Bob Dabrowski, and now it is going to be up to the competition to catch him. And coming to the line next, Gardner Stone and his twin Allison, called the General.
The General, a Northeast tractor, Gardner Stone. He's one of the big guns up in this part of the country. Runs a twin Allison aircraft combination. Same horsepower they used in the P-51 fighter Mustangs and the Korean War, Second World War. Gardner converted the horsepower over to make raw horsepower in the pulling sport, Richard. The ground speed does not look to be in Gardner's favor. Normally one of the strong chargers, not developing the ground speed he needs to make a good pull.
Gardner Stone with a little bit of smoke coming out of the left side of that motor as he shuts it down after a pull of 243.70 feet. That is not going to be near enough for Gardner Stone to move into the top 2 or 3 thus far. He'll be coming back to the line in a short while. The General tonight acting more like a private in this competition in Stafford, Connecticut. And next up to the line is going to be a guy by the name of Fred Freeman, another Hoosier out of Wadesville, Indiana. Mean Mistreater's the name of his machine.
Fred Freeman, your defending TNT National Champion and Busch Pro National Series Champion. Right hand on the throttle, Engler chassis, 4 Chevrolets for horsepower, 1,500 horsepower each. See what he's going to do. The ground speed, he's trying to dial it in. It's not going to work. The right hand goes down on the throttle, Richard, not the ground speed that he needs.
You see the wheels just as spinning as he is about to shut her down. A distance of 221.48 feet for Mean Mistreater. And a few minutes ago, Gardner Stone took the General down the track not very far, despite the fact that he had some airplane motors. He didn't fly the way he wanted to. He'll try it again with some more Allison-powered engines. This is his machine called Mr. LTL.
The Middlebury, Vermont native, a strong charger, receives a green flag. This is the second vehicle he runs. Remember, Banner brought 2 bullets. It worked for him. Let's see if Stone can learn a little bit. He moved the sled a little bit to the right, but he missed the weight, Richard. The front end starts to sky on him immediately when he nails the throttle on the starting line. The overflow tube showing the strain of the engine halfway through the run.
Well, not a good distance at all. Gardner Stone just over 213 feet. You wipe his name off for being a winner tonight or even in the top 3, despite the fact he brought 2 machines. And coming up in just a minute is that gentleman right there. His name is Pat Friels. He's your current national points leader. He is being chased very closely in the point standings, though, by the Banner brothers, specifically David Banner. And Army spent some time earlier today with Pat Friels.
Pat Friels out of Island, Kentucky, currently your national points leader in the 7,200-pound and 9,200-pound modified tractor category. Pat runs a Chevrolet engine combination. We're halfway through the year on the TNT points. Pat, what are you looking at on a 1988 season?
Well, we've had an awful good year so far, but we've lost a lot of parts. Finishing out the year is going to be awful tough on us. We just put on our last spare motor. We lost the motor and drivetrain and a couple nights ago, and if we finish out the season with 5 motors on it, we'll be awful lucky.
And how many engines do you take with you when you go on tour? We noticed that, like you were saying, you put your spare on today. Do you have any backup equipment left?
That's all I've got to my name right there.
Are you going to have any type of time where you're going to be able to regroup and to get your equipment back in shape?
Well, we can take a couple of motors that we broke and maybe make have one more spare out of the parts that we broke earlier.
What can we look for? You think you can hang on to win this thing?
Well, I'm here to get down to 2 motors.
Pat Friels out of the Bluegrass State, trying to take home his first national championship.
Well, Army, we'll see how close Pat can come right now to that points championship as he hooks up to the line and the Dollar Devil machine. Pat out of Island, Kentucky. I thought the Bluegrass State known for hills, not islands, Army.
Friels out of the western part of the Bluegrass State, rolls on the throttle. Right hand, you can watch him actually nail the throttle all the way out. He's pulled the trigger on those 4 awesome Chevrolets. The ground speed looks good. He may be pulling up towards that #1 spot, Richard.
He is looking for a full pull, but he's not going to get it. Shuts it down after 267.46 feet. Good enough for second place now, but actually Pat will gain in the national point standings as he is ahead the David Banner machine. Let's go trackside with Army and Pat Friels.
Pat, a super shot drawing this late in the field.
Yeah, I sure appreciate it. We are really concerned about the track here tonight, but maybe a late number was better for me.
Well, it's obviously good enough for him because he's in second place now, and Phil Patterson out of Richfield Springs, New York, gonna try to top off Bob Dabrowski's full pull for a pull-off. Phil and the Sassy Massy machine.
Phil Patterson, Brian Knox, team up. First time out for this vehicle. A lot of people in the sport are watching it. The ground speed immediately shows on the vehicle. Sparks starting to come out of the right side of the vehicle, Richard. Not the run he wants, but a very, very impressive first shot on the tractor.
Pull distance, 249.15 feet. That is going to be good enough for Phil Patterson to take home 5th place tonight. As you see, the top 5, David Banner 4th, Wayne Keith in 3rd tonight. Pat Friels, your national points leader, takes 2nd. But your winner tonight with a full pull was Bob Dabrowski. That's the way they finished up in the 7,200-pound modified tractor division tonight here in Stafford, Connecticut. And when we return after a commercial break, we'll see these same tractors in a daytime competition, only they'll be up to 9,200 pounds in weight. They get that weight by adding more engines. We'll be right back.
This portion is being brought to you by Budweiser, proud sponsor of the 1988 U.S. Olympic team. This Bud's for you.
The Clydesdales, the symbol of Budweiser quality. A Beechwood aging, the choicest natural ingredients, and a genuine commitment to freshness and taste. One beer lives up to all this. Budweiser.
She's irresistible.
Do you believe that woman? The girl could be a movie star.
She's seductive.
You've never been in love, and you're not sure you ever will be.
And she's in trouble.
Jeff, we gotta get out of here.
What the hell is going on?
No one ever leaves us. A man would do anything for a girl like her. Spellbinder. Rated R. Starts Friday. Check newspapers for a theater near you.
Welcome back to Stafford, Connecticut. We are on day number 2 of this Redman TNT All-American Pulling Series competition. It is the modified tractors. Last night, Bob Dabrowski ran away with the competition in the 7,200-pound weight class, but he will not be here today. He has had to take his rig home, so the Banner boys, David Banner specifically, and Pat Friels going head-to-head, they've had to increase weight to 9,200 pounds, and how do they do that, Army?
They actually add engines on the vehicles. We can see here the Phil Patterson operation, Sassy Massy, they're hanging 2 more of the awesome Chrysler Hemi engines on this particular tractor. Also, Gardner Stone will be adding a 3rd engine on the Allison aircraft. You can see that right there as Stone's getting ready to put 3 Allison aircraft engines on the General. So they add weight in the form of raw horsepower, Richard.
And, of course, you saw the Redman TNT officials watering down the track earlier. They're trying to get these track conditions conducive to these monster machines. And the first one to the line today, Fred Freeman, as he is going to try to take the first full pull out of action here.
Freeman works the left side of the track, right hand on the throttle. He's not really down on the horsepower end right now. He's got an engine, starts to go away on him, Richard. The number 2 engine, smoke out the top, oil out the bottom. It's a telltale sign of a dead engine. Freeman stays after it. He won't quit.
And probably good news, he won't quit because he got a great pull of over 267 feet. So despite the mechanical difficulties on the mean mistreater machine, he grabs a great pull distance.
Fred, looked like a lot of damage that number 2 engine.
Yes, Army, it looks like maybe possibly broke a rod in it or something, which means the crank's probably broke, but I had a decent run, so I'm well satisfied with it.
What did the track feel like to you out there today?
It felt 100% better than it did yesterday. I was really satisfied with that run.
Well, Fred Freeman ought to be satisfied. He got a great distance despite all the mechanical problems, but here's the guy, Army, to keep your eye on. 16-time national champion David Banner in the Mr. Chevy machine.
Banner comes out setting number 2 in his national points. He wants to put Pat Friels away any way he can. He's made some chassis adjustments, and Richard, they work. Look at the awesome ground speed Banner has. He's running out of here like a fast-moving freight.
David Banner could probably win one of the great stock car races they hold here in Stafford. He has got a full pull in the Mr. Chevy machine to take over the lead in day 2 of competition here in Stafford. The crowd loves it. Let's go trackside with Army.
Dave, congratulations on one of the most awesome runs we've seen this year. What changes did you make in order to lay down such a shot?
Well, last night, I run on it, and I didn't get the track figured out, and it was one of them tracks we didn't think there was no bite out there, but I get right after it. There's some track out there.
Dave Banner sitting on top of this thing with a big smile on his face, saying the trick today is to nail it right on the start line, get the wheel speed, and try to zoom it out the other end. It worked for him. Let's see what the other fellas are going to do.
And one of those other fellers is Gardner Stone, who's coming to the line right now in the general machine.
Stone comes out. He's added another 1,712 cubic inch Allison aircraft engine. Richard, he's still having mechanical problems. Left side of the tractor going away on him awfully bad. Wheel speed is not there. A tough break for one of the strong East Coast pullers.
But not really a bad pull considering the mechanical problems, 257 feet as the smoke comes out of that machine. And we await the national current points leader. His name is Pat Friels. Last night he finished second. Here he is adding power, and he's off and running.
Right hands on the throttle. He's under pressure. He must make a full pull. He's got to make a perfect run. It looks good. The ground speed coming back for Friels, a little bit light on the nose. Richard, I believe he's going to do exactly what he has to do. Yes, a full pull.
Pat Friels and the Dollar Devil has assured us of seeing him one more time. He has got a full pull, as does your 16-time defending national champion. And coming to the line next in his second machine, there he is, one of the infamous Banner brothers. David is back in the Fox.
Banner boys back in town, driving a Fox. This time he has one bullet already out of here, trying to put two out, trying to put Friels away for the national championship. It looks like another full pull. Yes, Richard.
There he goes, just interim in a stock car race. Both these machines of his getting full pulls. David Banner hot on the heels of Pat Friels for the national title.
Dave Banner, for the second time today, has made one of the most awesome full pulls we've seen. He's somehow getting so much ground speed. He's just backing at about the 250-foot mark. He's completely backing out of the throttle and letting the sled take him out. Dave, we're not asking for the secret, but you've definitely come up with some kind of combination that's working here this afternoon.
Yeah, I believe my whole shot's really getting me some speed going. And, you know, any time you're in tractor pulling, the first 100 feet's so important. And I think we're doing our job right that first 100.
Well, a lot of guys doing their job right. Already 3 full pulls. Wayne Keefe out of Hebron, Connecticut, going to try to make it 4. He did not add engines to get up to the proper weight. He just added dead weight. So there's a disadvantage, but he's off and rolling fast.
He added all his weight between the rear wheels to plant the horsepower, and it's working for him. The 4 Chevrolets will take it out of here. A full pull number 4 today, Richard.
Wayne Keefe, the local boy with sudden thunder, makes it a guaranteed pull-off of 4 tractors. The crowd really enjoying this hot competition. And can it get any hotter? Phil Patterson and the Sassy Massey machine hope so, Army. The first time Phil has ever competed with 6 engines in front of him.
The JP Hemi combination. Everybody's watching it. The horsepower, no problem, plenty of it. Patterson, the heavy equipment operator, teamed up with Brian Knox for, it looks like, in my opinion, the fastest run I've ever seen in the sport. Look at the ground speed.
Phil Patterson makes it our 5th full pull of the day. He may have just earned a new nickname, Full Pull Phil. Patterson taking it across the line easily, but it looks like some mechanical problems on the machine. Let's go to Army trackside.
Phil Patterson and Brian Knox team up with first time ever, the 6-engine combination. They're going to be back in a pull-off. Something unique has happened here. The blower belt came off the center engine right here. He made the run actually on 5 engines. At about the 100-foot mark, the engine was basically useless. The blower belt came off, takes the supercharger out of it. A super run. First time ever, 6 engines, Patterson and Knox teaming up again to be a bear with the Sassy Massey. They'll be back in a pull-off.
Well, Army, unfortunately for Phil Patterson, we just got word topside. They're not going to be able to get the Sassy Massey machine fixed in time for the pull-off, so we'll be back with 4 tractors on ESPN in just a moment.
Be a part of the most powerful sport on earth with a TNT membership. Get 12 issues of POWERTRAX, the monthly pulling magazine. A Redman TNT pulling cap, a TNT Motorsports patch, Redman and TNT decals, plus a 10% discount card on all mail order purchases. Send check or money order for $24.95 to this address, or charge it to your Visa or MasterCard by calling 1-800-227-3167. Order now.
The Goodies 500, Sunday afternoon at 12:30 Eastern, live on the ESPN.
If you like truck and tractor pulling and monster truck racing on ESPN, then you'll love watching it in person when TNT brings the most powerful sports on earth to your hometown. The Redman TNT All-American Pulling Series moves indoors on September 30th through October 2nd in the Omni in Atlanta, Georgia. There's plenty of wild and wicked action remaining on the Renegades TNT Monster Truck Challenge Series. The big trucks race side by side September 30th and October 1st at Spartan Stadium in San Jose, California. On October 7th and 8th in Freedom Hall, Louisville, Kentucky. October 16th at the Richmond Fairgrounds, Richmond, Virginia. November 11th and 12th at Garrett Coliseum in Montgomery, Alabama. And November 19th in the new Charlotte Coliseum in Charlotte, North Carolina. A combination TNT truck and tractor pull and monster truck race is scheduled for the spacious Hoosier Dome in Indianapolis, Indiana on November 19th. Please join us as TNT brings the same truck and tractor seen on ESPN to your hometown. Richard Leake back with you in Stafford, Connecticut, and this is where all the marbles are on the table. It's a pull-off. 5 vehicles qualified. Our first to the line is David Banner, Mr. Chevy. He is off and rolling.
When it comes to pull-off time, you got to lay your hand on the table, and Banner looks like he's going to have a tough hand to beat. Another tremendous run with ground speed, and Richard, it looks like another full pull for Banner.
Give him 2 for the day in Stafford. 2 full pulls for the Mr. Chevy machine as he really puts the pressure on your current national points leader, Pat Friels, who will be coming to the line next. Pat's got to get a full pull to stay up on Banner.
Pat comes out. Banner was running a moment ago, 6 Chevrolet engines for that second full pull. Friels will come out, right hand on the throttle. You can watch him dial a horsepower in, but he runs a 5-engine combination on an Engler chassis, a little bit light on the nose. The ground speed not where Banner was. Friels not able to get the ground speed he needs. Banner's going to dodge a big bullet on this run.
Shimmy and shaking. Pat Friels shuts down. Good for second right now. There you see Phil Patterson. He qualified for the pull-off, but a blower belt has taken him out of the competition. Meanwhile, Banner comes back to put more distance, hopefully between him and Friels, as the Fox machine is going to try to make a full pull.
Fox comes out. He can really help his national championship cause here. If he can put this vehicle between his current lead vehicle and Friels, he'll come in on those points.
And he did it, Army. David Banner has put more distance between him and Pat Friels as he's got a full pull in Mr. Chevy, and he's got enough distance there to take over second in this pull-off, and it all boils down to the local hero, Wayne Keefe, who is going to try to take sudden thunder all the way down the track.
Wayne comes out, backpedals, nails the throttle again, trying to plant the horsepower. The 4-engine combination, I don't believe is going to be enough to strong-arm Banner out of the lead, Richard.
Well, you can see coming off the line, Wayne Keefe having problems, and it shows in his distance, only 191-plus feet for Wayne Keefe. That means David Banner has gained ground on Pat Friels in the National Points Championship chase. Let's go down trackside with Army and your champion.
Dave, congratulations to you. A tremendous show of horsepower this afternoon.
Yeah, it was really working good for me this afternoon. I mean, the runs I was making today was probably one of the better runs I've made in a long time.
Now, what does this do to you and Pat Friels? You finished first and second. Friels is currently the national points leader. He had a 3rd place finish, so you're going to be pulling in on him a little bit.
Yeah, I gained a little ground with Pat. You know, Pat's been running exceptionally well, and I got off to a little bit bad start, and I gained a point or 2 on him this time, so it's at the start of the season about halfway over, so you never know what's going to end up at the end of the year.
Well, I'll tell you what happened today in Stafford. A great show. As you see the top 5, the way they finished, we had 5 full pulls today as we run down the final 5. Patterson, Keefe, Friels, Banner taking first and second, which means that David Banner has gained considerable ground on Pat Friels in this Redman TNT National Points Championship race. I'm Richard Leake, along with Army Armstrong, saying so long from Stafford, Connecticut. We'll see you soon on the tracks across America.
Join us time for POWERTRAX, the most powerful sport on earth. Brought to you by TNT Motorsports, the nation's leader in pulling and monster truck racing.
Turning the power on.